way better anyway.
What's up, YouTube? Cordell here, and today I want to do a review on the Razor's SL. I guess this is just the SL Basic. It's not a Pro model or anything. It's just the white one from probably a couple years ago. Actually, I bought it used, but let me tell you a secret. All SLs are the same, except for Jeff Acers did tell me on Instagram the other day that apparently the Pro model one, so the Aru and the Henderson 2, those SLs actually do have a higher quality plastic in the shell and cuff. It's the same plastic as like the V2 cuff, so that's going to be higher quality than your Razor's Colt and the older or the more generic SL. So that's something you should know. If you want something that's like this but a little more premium, you can get a Pro model SL. Yeah, let's break it down. So this is not the stock frame, but however, I have the stock frame and I skated it with a Featherlight 3, which is what comes stock. And I love that frame. The Featherlight 3 frame is great. I think the groove of the Featherlight 3 and this line up really well. These are Kaiser Fluid 4s, and I think this frame also works really great on the SL. Yeah, I really like this groove though. It's an obvious groove for like corners of ledges and stuff to go into, but it's like kind of rounded. So if something feels wrong or you need to get out, you can, or if you want to like swivel, I think that's kind of the idea. You can kind of move, but it still locks you in good. And I really like that. And that brings me to the sole plate space. I think it's great. It definitely feels a little stiffer and slides a little faster and feels more quality than maybe the plastic on the Shift sole plate. Granted, I know the Shift sole plate is designed to clip and unclip, and that's probably why it feels a little lighter and cheaper, but the plastic on the Razor's SL sole plate I think is definitely some of the best plastic I've slid on. And the negative side is great, but that brings me to what I want to talk about. The only thing about this skate really that I would change, and I think even the people at Razor's could probably admit that Razor's, I think they're due to kind of beef up the SL in my opinion. I think the first thing I would do is, no one that I know of goes through the trouble of buying different color sole frame, sole plate, and backside plate colors to customize. I know that back when they kind of came out with this, that was the whole thing. You can do like different colors and really customize your skate. Just do a one mold sole plate, please. And you don't need 5 different colors on your sole plate. If you had a different colored cuff, boot, and sole plate, that's plenty of customization in my opinion. I would keep the sole plate almost the exact same, but if you just made it one piece, you could probably take out at least 2 screws and make it even lighter than it already is, which it is a pretty light shape. So that's my 2 cents. I think they could do an updated sole plate that would look cleaner and better. There's been rumors and whisperings of that maybe happening, at least for the Colt. I don't know if they'll do it for the SL, but they should. I think it's due time that the SL gets a little bit of a makeover. I think it's pretty much a perfect boot, but that is one thing I would change is, yeah, just make it one piece. Save everyone a headache. That brings me to the actual boot itself. I love it. I have really interestingly shaped feet, and if you do the right things, I think this shell fits a really awesome for people with kind of slightly shorter, wider feet like me. So I'm normally a size 10 shoe, and I downsize into the 8-9 shell, and I still have space. And then I put a little yoga pad I cut out and put under my liner, and then I have a custom footbed that I put in the Intuition liner, and that fills up all that extra space, and it feels nice and snug, and the performance is really good. And that brings me to the cuff. I love all Razor's cuffs. I have the V2 ones on my Shifts. That's probably my favorite cuff of all time. The cuff that comes on the SL is great. And then I even put some V2 shells on my Gods because I like that cuff so much. And man, Razor's cuffs I think are really good. They have like almost this perfect balance of supporting your ankle enough and giving you kind of that protection you need to being just just flexible enough to learn and get into some of those tricks that if you don't have perfect form on, you can still learn and get more comfortable on. And then the buckle, it's just a generic plastic buckle on this one. It's not the aluminum one that comes on pro models. But honestly, I almost like the plastic buckle more. It's not as obvious when it gets scratched up. It's cheaper to replace, and I think it lasts just as long. And yeah, the buckle is a buckle. And yes, it does come with kind of the Rain V3 on the nicer models. I haven't skated the generic Razor liner, but from what I hear, it's not that great. But yeah, the Razor's premium liner or the Rain V3, I have skated it with those liners. I do have those liners. And they're great. They're good. They're comfy. Definitely not as good as like an Intuition or a Rossi's RL1 liner. But yeah, the Rain V3 liners are good. And then these are just some hockey style laces that I think those are the ones that came on it. I don't know. I bought these used, but yeah, I really like it. I think this might actually become my daily driver. And some of the things I liked about it is the sole frame. So the sole plate itself, that's the only plastic between you and your wheels. So what Razor's patented technology is that it has no bottom to the shell, right? And so the sole plate hooks to the shell, and then it creates a lower ride. You're closer to the ground, and because you're closer to the ground, I think you can feel what's going on underneath you better, and it gives you a lower center of gravity, and it actually helps you lock on and balance better. One of the things I didn't like about going onto some other skates, like my Gods or my Razors, was just felt like it had almost this ladder effect, because you had your frame, then you had your sole plate, then you had your boot, and there was just all these things sandwiched together, and I felt like I was really far away from what I was grinding and what I was riding on. And because of that, I do think like on the Rossi's Fifth Elements, it's a great skate. I love that skate, but I feel like just on basic things like sole grind, sometimes I would miss. And I think it's just, I couldn't quite feel where my feet actually were or where my center of gravity was. And I don't seem to have that problem with these. For example, I went to Crossroads Skate Park in Ogden, and I normally struggle really bad with grinding coping, and I didn't miss a lock on any of my grinds, which is pretty rare for me because I'm still learning, and I am usually quite prepared to just eat it on coping like all the time. And I did all my generics grinds. I did a sole, a switch sole, a Royale, and a backside, and even a topside sole. And all of them I locked within like 1 or 2 tries, and I did a sweaty, and yeah, it just felt easy in the skate for some reason. And I think that's because of that like lower to the feeling, the lower center of gravity feeling. Yeah, so I like that a lot. And again, the fit, I think one of the most important things when someone's buying skates is how it feels. If your foot's not happy, you're not happy. And I felt like this is the first skate I've had that's had enough room to kind of fully customize the footbed and everything the way I want. And it's the first one that I feel like nothing about this skate hurt at all when I put it on stock. Nothing was stock painful, and then it had room that I could customize. And if anything stock, it felt maybe a tiny bit roomy, but like I said, once I did some of those things, like added the yoga foam footbed for extra padding, and the custom footbed inside the Intuition liner, which the Intuition liners have slightly thicker footbeds, it feels really good, and I really like how I got this skate to feel. Yeah, so you should definitely check it out. If you're going to get this skate, try to get it from a local shop. I'll leave a few links in the description below. And hope you liked my review of the Razor SL. Sorry it wasn't one of the new flashy looking ones, but I mean, it's not a bad looking SL. It's a white one. Well, let me know what you think. Did I nail it? Did I have some good points, or did I totally blow it? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it, and we'll see you out there. Thanks for watching.